Are you ready? I hope so. Let's get into it. Are you ready? Let's get it. Well, peace and blessings and keep up the lessons. This is your brother Talib from the Brother Talib Show. You know what I am. Well, who I am, actually. yeah, I'm just coming back. This is the second video, like to the part that I brought the last time, dealing with the issues of the Ukrainian and Russian crisis of the war that's going on there, and all the spill out and all the hoopla and all this, a lot of attention, which is very, very hypocritical to me, and that's my basis and my point of it all. It just really bothers me to realize that these people are so boldly just showing their behinds to the rest of the world and saying, you don't mean nothing because you're black, you're African, you don't mean nothing because you're Arab, because you're Palestinian, you don't mean nothing because you're an ethnic Muslim Asian person, you don't mean nothing because you're a Central American, Spanish person, brown person, you don't mean nothing because you are a Caribbean, black, African descended person, okay? Anything other than white is right, meaning the life of European descendants, whether they're over there near Russia, in those areas, Eastern Europe, or Northern Europe, or Southern Europe, Italy, all these different parts. As long as you're European, as long as you're white, you're right. Your life is more important. Your life is more, uh, um, precious. But the other people's lives doesn't matter. And look at the proof of this. Let me just show you what's going on. This is in Egypt, but I mean these are Egyptians, but they're not, and they're from African Arab country, the Arab Republic, right? So they are, as it says here, first Egyptian injured during Russian invasion as Arab students scrambled to leave Ukraine. Okay, now just listen. Egypt's state-run media reported yesterday that the first Egyptian citizen had been injured in the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Mohammed Zayed is being treated in a hospital in the eastern Ukrainian city of Kharkiv after being injured during an airstrike. Now that's him, and he's an African Arab, or per se maybe more Arab, because they got different mixtures of Egypt. I lived there for almost 8 years. I know how it is. I know the basic difference of the people there. You have very, very light skinned, plain skin colored Egyptians that look like a European, and more European descent, and you have the Arab looking ones, and you have the African looking ones. Okay, North Africans, I had to say, like Egyptians from ancient Egypt. Okay, and that's like in Aswan especially. So basically, they taking care of this guy, right? Okay, that's nice. That sounds good, because this is what we're supposed to do: treat people with their humanity, correct, proper treatment to the people, not to what went on with the African Nigerians or the Ghanaian or whichever students they were, what country they were from. They were Africans. We know this. We've seen this. It's footage to show. I mean, even by gunpoint, trying to stop them, keep them from entering the train, and they're shouting out, "We're students." And they're very, emotional, but they have a reason. Their lives are in jeopardy. Like this guy. You understand? And it says that at least 102 civilians have been killed and 422,000 displaced since Thursday. And part of that displacement are those Africans. Know that. Okay, Thursday, though, the UN was warned that the real figures are likely to be much higher. Okay, whatever. Poland is preparing for up to 1 million refugees to enter as the fighting continues. The Ukrainians, maybe. Of course, the European Ukrainians, not the Africans, because we're going to find out what happens with them later on. And there's another person that I've did in my video, my first video. His name is his channels Go Back Black to Africa, and he does a video, and I think he's doing another video on what took place when the people, some of the Africans that made it out, made it to Poland, and what they had to go through, what the racist things that they experienced. Okay, before they left, the discrimination before they left, and the biasness before they left, and then made their way over there. Okay, look what it says. The Egyptian foreign minister told its embassies in countries around Ukraine to prepare to receive Egyptian citizens being evacuated from the country. Roughly 6,000 Egyptians live in Ukraine. Wow. Around half of whom are students, but some say that they have little help from the Egyptian embassy. Well, that's understood. I know about Egypt and the government too. So, as it says, on Sunday, Ukrainian authorities ordered border guards to allow Egyptians to leave the country through its borders with Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, and Romania. The Egyptians, they're not black Africans. We know this. Nigerians are more like dark-skinned Africans. They're not North Africans. Okay, so this is very important to understand. This stuff is racist, and you got to take heed to it, and you got to look into it, and you got to understand why, and stop being a blind following person when the news and the media puts out, and then everybody, hey, we got to stand for Ukraine. No, you got to stand for righteousness and goodness and respect and honor and dignity of people. That's what you have to stand for. And whoever it is, doesn't matter about just Ukraine because they're white. And I hate to say it like that because I'm not a racist person. But the clarity is there. And it's getting ridiculous to just be showing their behinds like this throughout the world. And they was trying to take somebody while they was doing by gunpoint the videos that they were showing with their cameras. These students, one of the troops came over there to try to stop them from filming because they don't want that to be seen, but they know what they're doing. So why are you doing it if you don't want it to be seen? Why? Because you have evil in your heart, and it's called racism, racial biasness, racial discrimination. That's what it's called. And we're tired. The world should be tired of that. Not just because it's a country and a geopolitical situation, people got oil investments or what have you, gas or whatever, natural gas, whatever it is, nuclear power stations or whatever. Not because of that, but because of humanity. You people are going to meet your maker someday, I tell you this, for surety. You leaders and all you people who are hypocrites, you're going to meet your day. So we'll go on. You know, forgive me for my emotion, but I tell you, I'm over it. Thousands of Arab nationals are currently trying to leave Ukraine, including some 10,000 Moroccans who were also asked on 12 February to leave Ukraine immediately. Among them, 8,000 students, but many did not go, fearing they would be suspended from failing to attend classes or that Russia would decide not to invade the country. They didn't know the country was going to be invaded. They didn't think it was going to be invaded, and so they stayed put, thinking, you know, and then also fearing what they said they feared. Okay, let me move on and get to the nitty gritty. The closing of the commercial airspace for flights has added to the difficulty in helping Arab citizens leave the country, whilst others are stuck in the cities under siege by Russian forces. Who is this? Okay, as well as Egypt and Morocco, one of the largest number of students is from Nigeria. Though reports have circulated that Nigerian students are being prevented from leaving. Videos have circulated online of African students being pushed back from the Polish-Ukrainian border last week to allow Ukrainians out first. In one video, Ukrainian police officers, just like I mentioned, could be seen at a train station linking linking arms to prevent a group of Africans getting onto a train. There you go. Okay? Now we got more about this crisis. And I'm tied to, I'm like, the hypocrisy is just disgusting. You know why it's disgusting? It's because people are dying, people are losing their homes are being destroyed, bulldozed, people being put in concentration camps or refugee camps. They're forced to live in refugee camps and have bad conditions there that are not for any human being that should live. Okay? And this is what it is. This is the main people who are doing this that's been getting away with their crap for years and still are. As it says, the crisis in Ukraine exposes the hypocrisy of Israel and its Zionist allies. In Scotland, when someone is on shaky ground or skating on thin ice, they are said to be hanging by a sugary peg. This is their saying. That it is exactly where Israel has found itself over the crisis in Ukraine, as the hypocrisy of Tel Aviv and its Zionist allies is exposed for the whole world to see. But too many people in the world are blinded. Also, they're blinded with their racist biasness. Got to say it. And also, nationalism. Because, like, especially here in America, you got people who want to be American so bad, they're not even really American by birth, maybe, or so forth. Or maybe their parents were born in another country like Mexico. I was watching the show, and the guy was in the restaurant, Mexican guy. He's talking about how his boss told him, and he was very happy to do so, to get liquor bottles in a bar and remove the liquor bottles that were made in Russia, Russian-made products. Get rid of them, throw them away. Like, oh, big wooly dooly. Like, what's that gonna do? And then, like, you doing that, but what about Israel? What about what's Israel doing? What about what they're doing to Palestinians? Oh, because Palestinians are Arabs. Oh, that's what it is? Oh, because their religion is Islam. The terrorist religion. That's what y'all think. With your biased ignorance and Islamophobic mentality. Don't even know what the truth is because you don't try to seek and find. And if you do, you're doing it on a bias, with a biased inspiration to find whatever evil you can try to find out of our faith. And then go and try to defame it. And then be able to lessen the life of the people who are Muslim, whether they're Arab, Asian, and even white. Because whites, they're going to say, oh, you're Benedict Arnolds. You're going against the main faith of the Europeans, which is Christianity, so-called. That's not true, though. Look at Russia. Communism has been there for many years. And they still have that in their system. Know that. That's why we're seeing what was going on. And they're trying to bring it back. That's why they're trying to get Ukraine. And that's a whole nother story. You understand? I'm not saying that Russia, and I'm rooting for Russia neither. They're just as evil. But the hypocrisy sucks because you trying to say and act like you're the good guys over here in the West, and everybody, hey, we're the good guys. We're going to get Russia and we're going to shut them down. They're going to be jumped by everybody because everybody hates them. Not everybody does. Know that. I'm not saying I don't hate them and I don't like them either. I as a Muslim, number one, and an African American, which they don't care about who I am, I do not like evil at all. Whatever evil a person's doing to any human being and oppressing any human being, taking away their rights, their land, what have you, their property, boom, whatever it is, stealing and robbing from them and putting them into slavery, like my people, yeah, is evil still. All day, every year, every century. Still evil. Today, 2022. What you do. What are you doing? Yeah. Okay, let's get back to this. According to them, all the U.S. and the U.K. and the the EU, which is the European Union, and Israel itself, Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty are sacrosanct. See what I mean? They're Ukraine, because they're mighty whiteys as well. It's sacrosanct. Okay? It's special. It's precious. Why, though? And that's what we'd like to know. Why just them? Why just the French when the French got bombed, but when the Muslims got bombed, it was okay? Everybody was crying and doing what do you call it, memorials for the deaths of the people, which I don't have a problem with. This is fine. This is something that you would expect people and loved ones and people who love the people who they lost to do. But the whole world? But then people in Africa, they're dying and this and that. And what do they care? Only thing they look at is say, that's a poorer country. They're just a bunch of poor black people. Yeah. And they call the Arabs what? Ragheads, a bunch of ragheads. This is what they call us, our people. This is what they call the Muslims. But then what about the Asian Muslims? And what about the European Muslims? In Bosnia, what did they do? They let them all die. Clinton came in at the last minute. Over 300,000 were slaughtered by the Macedonians, the Serbs. Yeah, and you had to have mujahideen that were Muslim from other countries to come and help their brothers, and they were European. This is Islam. We are bound. We're bound by the faith. We're bounded by our Lord who gave us life here. All of us, including you. But you're going to see him just like I'm going to see him. We're going to see him. He's going to see us. Know that. So all of that you do, oh, you who disbelieve, and all you who are oppressors over the earth, will come to know. Know that. According to them, okay, so all these people, U.S., U.K., EU, Israel, yeah, they all together. They have always been in cahoots. Know that. And do every one of them not apply the same principle to Palestine and the Palestinians? Why? Palestinians have been occupied. Their land has been taken. Children have been killed in the streets, shot, dead, taken in, disappearing. The military, how are you going to take 16-year-old, 12-year-olds and put them into your country without their parents' permission? Because they was throwing rocks. And you consider them a terrorist. So, but the people over here that was just having riots over football games in America or other things, young teenage white Americans setting cars on fire, or they protesting down in the city and whatever. You're not taking them, put them in, and they disappear, and they're beat up and all that type of stuff. The guy comes out there, and the people were protesting, and he comes out with his gun and shooting everybody up, talking about it was self-defense. He gets off. Yeah, because he was a white boy. So you hate to say that. I'm not saying it in a racist way. I'm just saying that's what he was. That's what he was. Because if he was black, he would have been laid out. Know that. The reality is the reality. Even you got videos, TikTok and this and that and all these different videos, they showing the same stuff over and over again with how they treat a black person unlike how they treat, or a person of color unlike how they treat a person who is white. It's clear. White supremacy. Global white supremacy. And we as a people are finished with it. Know that. Aren't the people that aren't the people of that occupied land not entitled to their own territory, integrity, and sovereignty without the reality of daily armed excursions by the aggressively colonial state of Israel, a country which has never declared where its borders lie because its founding Zionist ideology demands its constant expansion into neighboring counties, not just the land of Palestine. Well, that might be neighboring countries, but I think neighboring counties. But I think I would say countries, because Palestine is a country as well. Until the UN and NATO roll out a level playing field, when it comes to human rights, sovereignty, and respect for borders, we can expect to witness more invasions and land grabs as powerful states continue to act with impunity, just like what's going to happen in possibility in Taiwan from China. And China has been doing to the Uyghurs, ethnic group of Muslim Asians, for a long time, and recently, especially the past years, taking away their rights. I mean, everything, totally stripping away their human rights on the guys, and the same thing that daggone what's the name went into Iraq and didn't even have proof, and there was still no proof to say that it was weapons of mass destruction there, and that Iraq was the ones who created these weapons so that they can bomb them and go in there and do what they did. They used the guise of terrorism. When they hit the buildings in New York, the Twin Towers. So that was their excuse and way to get in there to do that. It's not no conspiracy theory. These are facts. They're there. But those of you who just blind following, that's what you believe. You believe what everything the media says. Just blind following. The mainstream media. Yeah, west of the West especially. Know that. So the old adage that truth is the first casualty of war is playing out before our eyes. Yep. Truth is the casualty of war. Woo! If that's not correct, then truth is what? There is no truth. It is hard to know what is really happening in Ukraine, with Russia today taking an obvious pro-Moscow position. While the BBC has gone full tanto to use the unfortunate testosterone-filled macho language of Britain's Defense Minister Ben Wallace, trustworthy sources of news are thin on the ground. And that's correct. So we really can't know, But I'm going to finish up. And, again, forgive me for my, being a bit, emotional. But it is what it is. And I'll tell you right now, as a Muslim African American, I know where I stand. And those two things are not likened through this world. Know that. And it's sad. But it's okay, because when you connect with the one who gave you this life, you can have the enemies of the world against you. Which is almost like that. It's almost like that. It's like the world almost kind of hates anything other than white. And if the world, even the people who get, and some people will say these are coons, because you can be, you don't have to just be black to be a coon. You can be an Asian coon. You can love whiteness or white supremacy. You can be very, very much engulfed by it and influenced by it. That's all you see is the rest is best. It's good. You can be Indian and think that's the best and that's good. Anything darker, blacker, it's not. And I hate to say it seem like it's just a race thing, but it is. That is one of the main factors here. A nationalistic thing, that's a major thing too. With the Ukrainian thing and the Russian thing is a nationalistic thing, as well as ownership of a land. It's a land thing, a land grabs, like they said. Know that. But again, I'm thankful, and all praises, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praises due to the Lord of mankind. Okay, because I am protected by him. That's all. That's it. My family is protected by him. It's been proven to me. All the Muslims that try to cling to their Lord and do what's right and stay in there and be patient with him, that he has our back. And there's going to be a day that we're going to get that which was taken from us. Even those who are in their grave, lie in their grave, my ancestors, the people in Palestine, their ancestors that were killed over the years and dead and put in the ground, children, innocent women in the world. In China, what they're doing to the Muslims there. In the Caribbean, the Haitians have been harmed and drowning because of racial biasness. Over there, when they cross over the border to try to do better for their life because they're struggling in Haiti. Haiti had been stricken by earthquake, this, that, bad economical situations due to politics of the country and corruption. And then they go into Dominican Republic, and then they get that white supremacist rub-off or this disease that they're too black for us. Get them out of here. Because we're not black, we're not African. And whether you got kinky hair or not, and you got, your body form looks like an African person, because you're mixed, you knucklehead fools. Wake up. Or throughout the Caribbean, anywhere, that you think that these people accept you who you are. They don't care about you because you're just a brown person to them. Just because you're not African descended black, you might be indigenous black or brown. And the Mexicans too. None of you should be racist, because racism is perpetuated on you, just like us. But more, it was us, of course, we know. But Allah got us, as He has allowed us to survive through all of this, and we're going to still survive until the day that we meet Him, and Allah knows best. So I'm finishing up, brothers and sisters. Peace and blessing. Keep up the lessons. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you like the video, like it. Click the like button, and share the video. And if you don't, I'm sorry, but I'm speaking the truth, and that's all I'm going to do. Especially nowadays, it's not a game. So let's wake up and let's straighten up and keep yourselves ready. Over and out. Assalamu alaikum. Are you ready? Let's get it.